reveal their thoughts on movies that most people don't dare to watch. Psychotronic. 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 Welcome, ghouls and ghosts, to another exciting episode of Psychotronic Coast to Coast, where we watch basically the films that you have no idea what the fuck to think about, because you just see these movies on the rack and you're like, what the hell is 555 about? And you're just like, I don't even know. Where am I gonna find it out? And then you look, you Google it, and here we are. Two weird bearded guys in the woods talking about this weird, not bearded movie, not in the woods. Anyway, I'm here with my co-host, Owen Neal. We are going to reveal our thoughts on the movies that you don't dare to watch. Welcome to Psychotronic Coast to Coast. Tonight we watched 555, a fairly sought-after movie. I'm pretty sure it was pretty rare VHS for a while there. It's kind of notorious for the gore effects and some of the things that happen in it. The necrophilia specifically. Spoiler alert. There's necrophilia. Not super graphic, but you know, probably more than you're used to being comfortable watching on screen. No, it's not necromantic levels. We're not getting crazy now. But
it's a guy dry humping the air next to a woman
with his back to us. Anyway, why don't you take us through this movie, and we'll just go right into it.
I'll be honest, I tuned out pretty quickly into it, but I got the gist of it. You see, it kind of starts right off with a couple being murdered. And we don't see any necrophilia yet. That's not till like the third murder.
yeah, it's later into the movie.
And then they're like implied that it's always been happening, but okay.
They show it, and then they talk about it, the scene that follows it, saying like it's an aspect they didn't reveal before, and like, oh.
But yeah, that one wasn't. That didn't really show too much, if I remember. Wasn't much gore in that first kill. Did see some breastises right off the bat, though, if that's your thing.
Yeah, there's a
few of those in here.
There's a fair bit of nudity in this film. It's it's an 80s film. It's direct-to-video home market made, so yeah, there's lots of nudity, lots of gore.
Yeah, and then it jumps to the three detectives talking to a witness, more like yelling at a witness and telling him that he's full of shit.
I know.
At least one guy was, which was ended up being, spoiler, the killer. Because you don't. It's funny that you think about it. Is he's in that scene, being like, "This guy's an idiot. Get him out of here. He didn't see nothing," and then you don't see him throughout the movie because he's the guy killing people. Like he's never back with the other two detectives.
No one talks about him. No one mentions him. He's just a non-entity off there. He was here at one point, and now he's not here anymore. We don't talk about him anymore.
And the witness mentions a hippie with beads on, which later, when you ever see the killer, he's wearing a shitty Hawaiian shirt, a wig, a fake beard, and some beads. That's like his disguise.
Yeah, he looks like Glenn Danzig if Glenn Danzig were a homeless person in a Hawaiian shirt who hadn't slept in a few days and hadn't washed his hair in weeks. Yeah. That pretty much sounds right. Every time he was on screen, I kept going, "Mother, tell your children not to walk my way." I just kept doing it. Bad joke.
His weapons are two silly curvy knives.
They're called Chris daggers, by the way. Chris, K-R-I-S. The style of blade. The idea would be is when you stab someone with it, it makes the wound like bleed more. It makes it harder to close. It doesn't actually. It just makes the wound wide. You want like a triangle blade if you want a wound that's really hard to close up. Anyway, Things you
Yeah.
learn from watching History Channel in the 90s. When they actually talked about things like that historical shit like this. Anyway.
Yeah, I know they exist, but I think they just use them because like those look cool.
Yeah, it was super metal. It was super metal, that's why. Everything in this movie was chosen because it was super fucking metal. Yeah.
But yeah, that whole scene with them yelling at the witness was funny because yeah, it's almost like you're watching someone. You know, it's from a. They made it on VHS.
I
Video.
actually think it was shot on 16 millimeter for some reason.
Really? I thought we were watching.
We were watching it on the VHS for sure because that was the only master that remained, I think.
I thought you said it was all shot on VHS.
I said it might be shot on the VHS. I said I'm not entirely sure.
Oh.
That's what I said. I wasn't sure at all.
But
And
just
the internet was not clear.
Like the way the set is and the way it's almost all one shot, so it felt like you were watching like someone's dad in a theater play or something.
And everyone overacted to just like terrible comedy actors. So.
That's what it felt like.
Like the one cop in that I was like, I kept getting confused with the guy at the beginning for some reason because the guy at the beginning was there for like the one scene and was gone, so I forgot what he looked like, so I assumed he was the main character, the sergeant, right? Who also yells through almost all his scenes hilariously. And I forgot, I lost my train of thought, but fuck, Jesus, you can see that. Yeah, oh, that's right. It's because it was technical difficulty. Where are the? There we go. No, shot on video. Okay. Yeah. So it's like community theater, really, because like at one point I was like, hey, look, you can see the gap in the set between the set and the floor where the wall doesn't touch. And I was like, it's either in someone's garage, which is very possible, because we only see two walls, and it's decorated different ways each time. It's the same two walls. Same two walls.
And they use later as someone's bedroom.
They no, in every scene, dude, I'm telling you, the first murder, when it was like, when he does the rape, that was
on the beach.
Was that on the beach?
Yeah.
Okay. Never mind. There a few of the killings were in a room, and that room was still the same room. But
it was just super obvious with the bedroom killing because the wall was the same green.
Yeah.
They just put like nudie posters on the wall.
And they changed the drapes over the window to try to make it not look like a window, right? Like
it was a blanket.
Yeah, it was just a blanket on the wall. Like, see, we put a decorative blanket up. It's like the window. It's really just the window, guys.
And then they removed the door and put beads up.
I know, it's good.
They almost fooled me with that one.
Oh, I think they switched the walls when they changed the paint color, by the way. I think, here's what I think is, the other side of the walls are painted the other color so they can flip them around.
I mean, there was 2 killings in what was supposed to be a warehouse.
Yeah.
Which was all dingy. And
actually, that was, the interview on the DVD said that was actually a warehouse. There was actually a diner. There was actually a bar. There was actually a bunch of like locations. Apparently, there's a few exteriors. I don't remember any exteriors, dude.
No.
Oh wait, I remember. I remember like two or three. But they're very few. I mean, it's a low budget film.
Yeah,
they expect, right?
Pulled up to that guy's house.
Oh, so a little backstory on this. Apparently, Roy. How does he say? What's his name again? Shit, I'm a little funk. Is it Raycaz? Oh, good lord.
The guy that made it?
Yeah. Christ. Oh my goodness. Oh, Wally Kaz. Roy Kaz is the co-writer. I'm assuming he's a brother or brother-in-law. So Wally Kaz, the director, basically got tired of watching these shot-on-video trash horror movies being bad, so he thought he could do it better. And to a certain extent, he did, on a technical level, do it better than a lot of them. On a pure technical level, the way it was shot, like, it was done on it had professional sound, okay? That's a big one. There's a few times it didn't, but, like, for the most part, it was professional sound. There was...
music in one ear.
That was that's the same thing. That's not... professional sound, we're talking about the dialogue being recorded. Except for that one, there's one shot, one scene where they post-dubbed someone's voice in. It was weird.
No, that was the guy's voice coming out of the intercom, but we didn't know. It just sounded like he was yelling from across the room.
Yeah.
What's going on?
It's
And then they
because it's shot.
finally showed a shot of the intercom. Like, oh,
Because what is it's actually because that's the only part that's ADR. It's Wally Coz yelling to the speaker or whatever. So, like that's the only time it sounds because it sounds really weird. It doesn't sound like it's coming through the speaker. It sounds like someone just recorded it in a room, and it's a different sounding room than the room they're in, and they just said that's good enough. Like that's not good enough, Wally. It's not good enough.
it's always good enough.
So so on a technical level, this uses sets. It uses what seem to at least be community theater actors. They're not the greatest actors, but they are a lot better than say any one of the actors in Things or Sledgehammer. Okay, or even Mutilations. They're better than most of the actors in Mutilations, and I loved Mutilations. Like there's things like that. There's like I said, there's a set, so they have outside light, so everything's well lit. Nothing's off. Nothing's in the dark where you're like, what the fuck's happening? I can't tell. Things are happening, but I can't see. And there's none of that shit, at least. So I mean, on a pure technical level, it's well put to tape. It's not necessarily well acted or well written, or even the direction's not even well done, but it's at least on a technical level. I can see what the fuck's happening. I can hear what's happening. Now, there's a technical flub where the music only comes through mostly through one ear. There's very little bit of it, very little bit in the other on the left ear. Actually, I unplugged my headphones. It was so annoying. Like, no, can't do that. And at first, like only the sound effects were coming from one ear. So it was just like, yeah. Anyway, so yeah, there are some definite technical flaws, but compared to say Sledgehammer, it's a better. He succeeded. He did better than Sledgehammer. Anyway, we can continue the story. Sorry, got distracted there.
I can just blaze through the story pretty much.
Yeah, go ahead and do the repetitive cycle. Go.
So there's a reporter. She shows up, nosing around. They start to think it's this army guy. And
who's the best actor in the movie, by the way?
The bald detective is fixated that it's him. And that's the guy that's like, whenever he gets mad, he just starts knocking stuff off the desk.
Yeah,
I like the scene where he's talking to the reporter and he knocks everything off the desk, and then he sits down and has a normal conversation with him, and he's just like picking up the lamp and putting it back on the desk.
It's so great. It's so great. At one point, like there's an ad-lib part where she goes to sit down and realizes the trash can's like right where her feet's supposed to be, so she kind of moves it. You know that wasn't playing. It was like, oh shit, I gotta move this. My bad. It's probably because they filmed the scene where he loses his shit beforehand, so nothing's where it's supposed to be when they fucking rehearsed it. Because it's clear these people rehearsed their stuff. That's the other thing is, other than there's a few flubs, but for the most part, people hit their lines.
Yep.
I mean, we've seen some movies like fucking Samurai Cop. There's that one guy, the one police chief, which just like finished his dialogue and then sat there for like half a minute when no one yelled cut. He just kind of sat there fidgeting. Like there was none of that in this movie, at least. You know what I mean? Like, and that movie was fucking shot on film. I believe that movie had like a way bigger budget than this movie. Anyway.
Yeah, so it just kind of jumps back and forth. You have the two detectives, never mentioning the third detective is just nowhere to be seen.
Until the third act, by the way.
And I'm pretty sure it was a little confusing, but I'm pretty sure they were like scoping out the army guy's house. Someone's murdered. And they're like, well, how'd he get out? Does he have a secret hatch in his roof? Not even thinking that it could be someone else because he was so fixated that it was him.
He was comically fixated.
And then they want to bring him in, and he seems to have ran. He seems to have ran when they want to bring him in. They find him later. He had a like panic room in his basement.
He freaked out because the reporter released information that he was the suspect, and he got panicked because she just walked into the police guy's office and started rifling through his shit, using his phone. At one point, everyone leaves and just leaves her there. Like, really? Yeah, no one's gonna make sure she gets out.
To get information from the military guy, she flopped one boob out.
Yeah.
And then just left. And as many people have pointed out in other reviews that we saw, that she wasn't bad looking, but she wasn't as sexy as she thought she was.
I'll tell you what, she was not a bad looking lady. She just had a few miles on her. You know what I mean? Like she was in her almost 40s, I think, easy.
She thought she was hot to trot, though.
She was probably a fox lady when she was younger, though. You gotta respect that shit, yo. She was well kept for her age. We'll put it that way. Like, yeah, I mean, she. What was I gonna say? I was gonna change focus here. I lost my train of thought. It was something to do with that scene. Yeah, she's like crazy sexually aggressive to like this one guy, and then every time anyone's sexually aggressive to her, she's like, "I'm too good for you." She's like, "You just fucked a 70-year-old, a geriatric, and you're too good for the police captain who's actually okay looking for like a gentleman in his 50s or whatever, late 40s." I'm just saying, it was very humorous. Like, really? Okay, lady, you're not exactly a spring chicken, you know? She thought she was a spring chicken, and as one reviewer pointed out, it's very admirable. That she thought very highly of herself. I appreciate that. Characters didn't think badly about themselves, you know?
Yeah. It just jumps around a lot, so it's detectives in that room being like, trying to figure it out, jumps to him killing somebody, jumps back.
Now, that's not to say it's not interesting, because while the dialogue scenes between the cops are mostly kind of boring, you can kind of tune out until someone starts yelling, and you start fucking laughing at the guy carrying on yelling. You're not going to miss much. The killings, that's where this is at. The gore is actually pretty good for how low budget this is. The neck slice at one point actually looks pretty fucking convincing. The head chop, there's one guy gets beheaded, that looks pretty convincing. I'm like, it's like you see it on screen. He's there, and then they swing the blade, and his body, and it's cut to the head, the severed head. Now, I mentioned before we went on air that Massage Parlor Massacre was made for $50, so this movie did better than that. But how they had a bigger budget. That movie actually referenced this movie with that head chopping sequence. I didn't realize that until now when I saw this movie. When I saw that movie, but yeah. Anyway.
There was one weird.
Don't watch Massage Parlor Massacre. It's not. It's okay. Maybe watch it, but I don't know. Rent it.
Yeah, they actually had. There's one where he's stabbing a girl, and they didn't line it up quite right because obviously there's a fake torso, and it actually looked pretty real. It had a breast and everything.
Yeah,
but then like her head was like tilted wrong. It just popped up through the thing.
Yeah,
so that looked a little weird, but
because
that
of
was
the
actually
quality.
Slicing it. And...
Oh, sorry. Start again.
Just when he was stabbing it and stuff, it looked really good. But then you jump to where he's killing the other girl, and it looked like they just had like a cantallope under there, and he was just like getting the knife stuck.
The one thing this is what happens, all right? First of all, to talk about the skin texture looked really realistic on the video because the video like got rid of the fakeness of it, right? So it looked way more convincing. It really lends credence that these movies look better on video sometimes. Right, so that scene's actually. There's one thing about that sequence is he cuts her like close to the camera, and then cuts to the next scene and he stabs her again, and that cut from that you see here is gone, and he's cutting here, and then later you see it back again. So there's a huge continuity error with that sequence, but the actual slicing looks pretty convincing when you're not looking at the giant seam of her head not lining up the body very well. But if you look to just past that, like it's actually pretty convincing. Otherwise, like. What were we saying? What were we on to after that?
The other kill where it was just like a lump under a sheet.
So he's like stabbing her, right? When it's convincing up until the point where there's a close-up shot because he stabbed it and he's trying to pull it out and it's stuck. And it goes to a close-up shot and it's literally the Chris dagger is stuck and he's pressing down on the thing that it's stuck in and he curls up and it's clearly a cantaloupe covered. Like it's literally, it curves into an orb. The blanket, you can see it's a fucking cantaloupe, and he's like trying to get the fucking blade out of it, like, it's hilarious. It's a highlight. It's a must-see part of this movie. Oh my god, it was great. That's the same one he did the first sexual act on, right? That we saw?
No.
Oh, that was the one with the slices, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I can't. Let's be confused, but yeah, one of those. The one with the cantaloupe does in the back of a van, right? That was the second interracial couple, right?
Yeah, that was in the back of a van.
Right. The first two kills were interracial couples? Or like, is this like a racist angle for the killer? No, it's just a coincidence.
And the third one wasn't, but then the fourth one was again.
Right? I almost like they did that, and then they realized, oh, wait. Oh, no, I remember that they say in dialogue that the boyfriend was killed later.
Which boyfriend?
The lady who was killed by herself. That
No,
later
they
the
were
boyfriend.
always together.
No, the one who was killed by herself.
Nobody was killed by themselves.
Really, I could have swore that one of the ladies was killed by themselves.
No, he'd always kill the guy first, and then he'd tie the girl up, slice up her chest.
All right, I don't know. I thought there was more killings in there. Anyway, the killings are the highlight in the movie, is what we're saying. Oh, and then stay tuned for the end, because when they're doing at the very end, they do all of the killings again, but they're like the extended cuts, and in one scene you can see one of the girls laughing. So you're like, oh lord. Yeah. Anyway, this is.
Anyways, let's jump to the major plot point. We learned that, even though I didn't pay attention to names, yeah, that the guy that works there had a different name at some point, and the reporter knew it. And then the chief calls in and says, "Hey, idiots who never called the FBI since I did. Apparently, there's every 5 years there's been the same killings in different states. So it's been going on for 20 years. Every 5 years, for 5 nights, he kills 10 people, couples, and
5 couples,
mutilates the bodies and jizzes in them."
Did we ever find out what the last 5 was? 5 couples?
No.
The answer to the 5, the answer to the third 5 is fuck you. That's what it is.
Because it's 5 years, 5 days, 5 killings. I mean, I suppose that's it.
Yeah, maybe.
And it's 10 people because it's always couples.
Yeah, well, I mean it's 5 couples, but yeah, it's 10 people.
Yeah. So, anyways, that's the big thing. They're like, "Oh shit!" So they go after him, and then first they go to the beach. I just want to point this out because it made me laugh. They go to the beach because she learns somehow at the killing at one other place where a reporter friend worked, where he would kill 4 couples, and then he'd go back to where he killed the first couple and kill another couple. Because somehow this guy always seems to know where there's fucking people having sex on the beach. So they go to the beach, and then the cop randomly shoots at another cop, blows the whole spot. And then they're like in the car arguing. And then they're like, "The warehouse," which wasn't even the first kill. That was like the third one. But yeah, he's there. They show up. They're gonna sneak in, and but they come with those alarms blaring, and he's banging the corpse, and he's just like, "No!"
It's so bad. It's so great. Oh my god, what's the highlight? So I gotta say, my girlfriend sent me a gift because I told her I was going live and showing the live stream here. And here you go. This is what she sent. She's watching apparently. Hi, Jamie. Anyway.
So, and then it seems like, okay, because the whole back of the thing was the other 5 was like, you won't believe what the last 5 is. So we thought something crazy was going to happen because this thing has kind of decent reviews.
Yeah, it's got 4.0 out of 10 on IMDb, which is terrible, but that's the general audience. On Letterboxd, It's got 3.5 out of 5, which is a 6 out of 10, 6.0 out of 10 on IMDb if you do comparative extrapolation. Because us film watchers tend to be more forgiving. We understand these, we're not like, it sucks, and turn it off 15 minutes later and give it with 1 star.
So we're like, what's gonna happen?
Mm-hmm.
So then one of the cops is shooting the guy in his shitty fake beard and stuff.
Oh, it's so bad.
And he's reacting, but he doesn't seem like he's doing anything. So I'm like, oh my god, he's completed his 5 rapes, and now he's super powerful or something.
Yeah, we thought
he can't be killed.
Possessed by a demon or something. That would have been really cool. But
and then the other cop shows up and shoots him, and then he's just dead. And then, although I'm still waiting because it's zooming in on his corpse, his supposed corpse. It's showing flashbacks of all his murders, except for the one where the knife gets stuck. They didn't put that in the highlights.
That's because they put the outtakes in the movie, man.
And they kept zooming in.
They did it once. We saw it.
It's like, oh, look at all the murders he's done. He's remembering. He's gonna come back with his superpowers, and something crazy gonna happen. And credits.
Right.
Then I'm like, but there's a shitload more time left. Credits end. Just fucking like 5 minutes of black.
8 minutes of black.
back in 8 minutes.
It was
Just
just
nothing.
it was just I scrolled through it. It was just 8 minutes black tail end of the tape. It just happens sometimes.
He's gonna rise
Normally
up.
those are chopped off. You know, when you make a print, but I think it was just maybe it was on the original VHS, and so they not on one of the original VHSs they preserved it. I know on one of the VHSs a trailer starts playing automatically.
I was like,
I believe that trailer is on here, but anyway.
Is he an alien or is he a demon? He has to do his rituals to survive. I'm like, nah, he's just a serial killer.
Yeah, it was. We were all expecting this cool twist or something fucked up to happen or whatever because it's it had pretty good reviews, but no, it was kind of a letdown in that regard. But I think we did that to ourselves. Not the movie didn't do that to us.
Well, the box kind of was like, "What's the last 5? You'll be shocked," type thing.
Yep.
And I'm like, not really. I was maybe we just glazed over it because some of the scenes were kind of long and drawn out. But like, did it mention that was he just a cop in all these areas?
I don't think they ever said.
Cop this last time?
I think he was just a cop this last time.
I don't know.
I don't know. I don't think they ever answered actually.
If he was just bounced from city to city every 5 years, once he does his murders, he had to be detective somewhere else.
I think I glossed over the same part, so I'm sure someone will be like, "You guys suck." It was this reason in the description in the comments, and okay, you're right, we suck. Whatever it happens.
I just like when he was in the scene. It was like, this guy's an idiot. He didn't see shit.
Oh, I love it. Oh
like,
my
nobody's
god.
Like, weird.
At one point, they're interrogating the war veteran guy, the guy who he's really convinced he's killer, and he pulls a gun on him, and he's like pointing the gun at him, like yelling at him, and the fucking their boss comes up, and he kind of just quietly puts the gun back into his jacket. Like, no.
That was a different guy. That was the bald guy.
I don't know who. Okay, I just remember the one guy being threatened though. That's my point. He had
pretty sure the guy yelling at the witness was the guy that ended up being the killer.
Okay, but I remember they pulled the gun out, and the guy comes over.
The bald guy was always angry. He was just like,
"Oh, that's great."
The
bald guy was great.
Throw stuff off the desk.
Yeah,
he'd walk over to his filing cabinet, throw stuff off.
He's the angry captain that everyone every angry sergeant or whatever, right? In Last Action Hero, it talks about it's a trope. It's one of those tropes. He's the trope, but he just plays it. He's so ham-fisted, so just cheese-tastic. He's a highlight. He's great. He saves.
You kept saying he was like, that's the killer.
Yeah, I thought because I said
he was on stakeout all night.
We saw that one guy for like 2 fucking minutes, so I forgot what he looked like, and so I had got him confused with that guy because they both yelled a lot.
I was like, how is he the killer? He's been on stakeout all night.
I don't know. It just is. Anyway.
I gotta take a leak,
guys. And you run the cross.
Wouldn't make any sense.
Oh, I gotta take a piss.
When you were with me all night, it's like,
no, I wasn't. Remember that 20 minutes I was gone taking a shit? Yeah.
It's my twin.
Oh Lord. Yeah. No, he excuse himself, take a dump, rides across town, kills people, uses the bathroom, comes back. He really did have to go to the bathroom, but he wanted to get his killing done.
Hippie clothes.
Gotta do his killing. Alright, so, did you like the movie? Do you recommend it?
No and no.
It
was a dull turd.
I liked it enough that I would say if you have a bunch of friends who are ready to rib this movie, go for it. Don't watch it solo. It'll be boring. Just
watch the last 10 minutes. They show all the cool kills.
I think it's worth your time if you're interested. If you're interested in this stuff, you probably already were sold and probably watching it already. You just wanted me to confirm your opinion. So here's your opinion confirmed. Confirmed. You should watch this, person who's interested in these movies. If you hate these movies, shot and video movies, just keep on going. We'll be watching something else next week. Speaking of watching things next week, anyway, next week, what are we watching?
We're gonna watch Teddy Bomb.
What the fuck is Teddy Bomb?
It is I assume, low budget indie Canadian exploitation movie.
From what year?
The
Ballpark
thousands.
it. 2000s. Okay, so
Up
it's a new
to
one.
2016, 2015, 2017.
So it's going to be significantly worse than this. Is what you're saying? Potentially,
I have no
maybe,
idea.
possibly. Though to be fair, Killer Rack was pretty awesome. So new movies can kick ass. Anyway, what do you rate 555? Which is right here on DVD. I keep forgetting to.
Well, it's definitely not a number that's in the title.
That was good. That was a good one.
I'll give it 2 for effort.
I would give it 2.5 out of 5. Yeah, 2.5 out of 5. It is in fact a solid 5-star shot on video film. It's about as good as Battleship. It's worth a larf. I have that in my collection too, so there you go. Now you know a secret about me. There you guys go. That's it. That show's over. We'll see you next week. Take it easy, guys.